Good morning, welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Mike. It is 11 o'clock on December the 18th, a week before Christmas, and Bitcoin's not had a good evening. I don't think the end of Sunday and the weekly close did Bitcoin any good whatsoever. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, we're still going to focus mainly on Bitcoin because it is the talking point of the year so far. We're going to take a look at a scenario. What happens if the SEC don't approve the ETFs? We're going to have a look at that. We're going to look at whether the Biden bailout is actually going to cause a surge in the bull run. How much money is he going to print? What's that going to do to the US dollar? And what's it going to do to Bitcoin, more importantly? Thirdly, we're going to look at mining stock. Miners who create the Bitcoin, as of next year, as of next April, that the mining rewards are going to be halved. Will that be a good time to pick up mining stock? We're going to go through that. We're going to take a look at Chainlink. We're going to take a look at the Jupiter airdrop. We have a date. We have a time when it's going to happen. So we're going to go through that. And then finally, before we get to the quiz, we're going to take you through DeFi Llama. DeFi Llama is a tool. When you hear people say, do your own research, what does that mean? It means go away and do independent thought on a project you want to invest in, or a chain, or a project, or a market, AI, gaming, whatever it might be. We're going to show you DeFi Llama, and we're going to show it you from the point of view of Solana, and then ask the question, is Solana undervalued compared to what it actually does? So we've got a lot to go through. I am going to try and finish the show dead on 12 o'clock today because it's nearly Christmas. I have to go and get Christmas cards and the usual paraphernalia that comes with that. So I'm going to have to finish the show at 12. Yesterday was a marathon. We went on for an hour and 45 minutes. I can't do that today. I've got too much to do. So let's get started. As we can see, the markets are down 2% at 1.55 trillion. Bitcoin has led the decline. That is down to just over 41,000. We're going to have a look at that. And it's broken out of the channel that we have had for 2 whole months. So we're going to take a look at that. Trading volume is up a tad. Bitcoin dominance, Ethereum dominance are both down just a little bit. And I'm expecting to see blood on the streets today. We'll start with the gainers. As you can see, there's really only 2 or 3 gamers. Astra is the only one that's done anything of any note. And at the other end, Celestia is down. I sold that at $14.50. I'm happy I dodged a bullet because my cash, my investment is now sitting in cash. Maybe I'll buy back in. 1000 sats. We made a video about 1000 sats for our members only section of a channel I can't name the name of. For the OGs there, telling you that I wouldn't be buying 1000 sats and the reasons why. That's also down. Arweave is down. ICP is having a retracement, but I mean it's had 124% gain in the last month. Multiverse is down. Lots of double-digit losers today. Terra Classic, Immutable X, near. Not a good day. Not a good day. Not a good day for your portfolio valuation, but an amazing day if you are looking to DCA in. If you DCA in on a Monday, this is perfect timing for you. Bitcoin at 41,000, it's down 8% from its recent highs. So DCA day, if it's a Monday, then it's good for you. But let's get on with the news because, like I say, I don't have a great deal of time today. So let me begin with having a look at this news. What would happen if the SEC denied the Bitcoin ETFs? It sounds like FUD, and I'm not trying to FUD, but, and this is a big but, it would cause a huge ripple in the markets. The question is, are BlackRock, Vanguard, ARK Invest, Fidelity, are they just going to sit to one side, having invested so much in building their Bitcoin holdings over the last 12 months? Are they just going to sit idly by as the SEC denies Bitcoin? So when you read this article with me, when we go through this, remember, there is only probably a 2 or 3% chance of this happening. But it's always good to look at both sides of what's going to happen. We know that if the ETFs are approved, Bitcoin could very well sit at $50,000 to $60,000. We know this. There are some crazed moon boys out there predicting $1 million for Bitcoin. They need to go back into their caves. It is not time for those predictions at this stage of the bull run. So it might result in one of the biggest crypto rug pulls, analyst predicts. Here we go. So Nate Gerassi recently opined about the potential impact of the SEC's decision, predicting a significant market pullback if the ETF is not approved. If spot Bitcoin ETF is not approved in January, it might be one of the biggest rug pulls in crypto history. That said, the analyst is still convinced the odds of such a product being greenlit is close to 100%. Well, at least we agree on that bit. We know Bitcoin hit $45,000 recently, its highest for a long time. What is the actual date? I believe it is January the 9th or January the 16th. It's one of those 2 days, I think. The market is not without its concerns. Bitcoin is currently hovering near the $40,000 mark, according to CoinGecko. The SEC's rejection of the ETFs could trigger a significant downturn. The industry is at a crossroads, with the SEC's decision having the potential to either bolster or buffet the nascent market. So, good article, Alex. But you did miss off the date of the ETF approvals, which I think it's the 6th, the 9th. It's around then. It's early January. But before we go and have a look at Biden and what effect he could have on the market, we're going to have a very quick look at the channel. My beautiful channel has been broken. Look at that. All of that hard work has gone. Look, I'm not happy about this. Let me point this out. So, since the 19th of October, we have been in this channel. It is now the 18th of December. For those of you that like numerology, you will realize that we have been in this channel for precisely 2 months. I don't think that's a coincidence in the slightest. But what I will say is our two price targets, as we have been saying on the stream, are 44,000 and 37, maybe 38,000. There are two price targets. Now, what is concerning right now is this area here. This is a volume gap. And what this means is that if we fall too far down from where we are now, so if we break below this volume area, we could see Bitcoin very quickly do this and be at 38,000. And that could happen. That could happen by Wednesday. That could happen by Thursday. Not trying to panic people, of course. I do expect a pullback. I have been looking at the RSI. I've been looking at, do we have anything that can give us hope? We have hidden bullish divergence. And hidden bullish divergence indicates that we should come back up. And we should come up to potentially around this level here, which is 42,000. So we do have hidden bullish divergence. That is one bit of good news. The other bit of good news is, as I said at the start of last week, that we can't keep having green weeks. We can't go up in a straight line. And if you look, we've had green, 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 green. We can't have 26 green weeks on the trot. We need a small retracement. And luckily, we've had that. Now, what I'm hoping that happens now is we do this, we have some kind of small retracement, and we carry on moving up. That's what I'm hoping. Because if we look below, this is the bull market support band, which currently is sitting at $34,500. Now, $34,500 is a long way from when we crossed when it was at $29,000. So what this is the trampoline that we bounce off. And we've said this many times before. Bitcoin uses the bull market support band as, we'll ignore that one, as a kind of trampoline. So what should happen is this over time. There are cases in the past where we had this huge run up, which was here. Now, I'm going to take this off to show you something. Again, we're on the weekly, by the way. So, huge green run up, small retracement, another pump. Huge green run up, small retracement. What comes next? Pump. So, could we see this again? I believe so. I believe so. So if we copy that across to there, you'll see it's not too far off. It's not perfect, but it's not too far off. So this, let's just call this a breather. This is a pit stop. A pit stop for Bitcoin. It might not feel like a pit stop right now because we are down, 8% from where we were. But like I said, we couldn't go up in a straight line. Even in this huge run up to our first all-time high and our second all-time high, we didn't run up in a straight line. We had a breather. We didn't run up in a straight line. We had a breather. And guess what? We're going to do the same thing again. We're not going to go up in a straight line. We're going to have a breather, and then we're going to carry on. History repeats itself because, as we say, nothing can go up or down forever. There are, of course, cases where stocks can go to zero, don't get me wrong. But what I mean is, in terms of markets, you can have an elongated bear market like this, where we just do nothing but come down and come down and come down and come down. And that was a year and a half of a bear market. It was brutal. That was absolutely brutal. That you've lived through that. You have lived through the worst bear market we have seen. That was my third bear market, and that was by far the longest, hardest, toughest bear market I have ever seen. But since then, we've had a beautiful increase from the lows down here of 18,000, which, by the way, 18,000 does tie into the previous all-time high. We've gone from 18,000, we broke through 20,000, we broke through 25, we got to $45,000. We're having a small pullback. Don't panic. Even if we go down to $38,000 today, don't panic, because these moves down here, these felt like the end of the world here. But remember, we can have this downward action maybe for a couple of weeks, maybe to the middle of December. I still think we're going to be somewhere near 48,000 by the end of the year. I still think we have the opportunity to do this by the end of the year. So don't worry, don't panic. It's just a natural pullback in the market. And I did say, again, I don't know if it was last Monday or the Monday before, we're on our 8th straight green week. We can't have 12, 16, 24. It doesn't work that way. So now we've had these two, it's healthy. It also gives the bull market support band a chance to curve up. So if you look, this is the bull market support band. Remember, the higher this goes, the less Bitcoin has to fall. So if Bitcoin is up here, comes down to here, and it will bounce again. If the bull market support band is down here, then Bitcoin could come all the way down here to bounce up. So there's lots of there's lots of positives in a small pullback, even though it doesn't feel like that way. So let's go and have a look at what could kick the market into gear. We are 3 weeks away from, or 2 weeks away, sorry, from January. What happens in November? It is the election in America. So the Biden bailout, let's just wait for these adverts to disappear, and then we'll carry on. The Biden bailout predicted to crash the US dollar and trigger Bitcoin and the crypto price boom. Remember, this is not a small publication. This is Forbes. And Forbes are, I would say, one of the more recognized magazines in America. So we're going to get through this, see how much this is going to pump into the market. And remember, printing money causes inflation. That's one thing to remember. If you print too much money, it causes inflation, and we can put the entire economy back 2 years. That's the negative side of printing money. And Democrats have been akin to printing an awful lot of money in the last few years. They've had to break, they've had to pause because of inflation. But once inflation comes down, as it has done, they're going to start printing money again. Let's get rid of so many adverts on here. So Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies have surged this year as the Federal Reserve gears up to restart its money printer, with China also posed, I think that's supposed to say poised, to flood the world with trillions. So now, after BlackRock quietly opened the door to a $1 trillion plus Wall Street game changer, a predicted 2024 Federal Reserve bailout for the US President Joe Biden could be about to cause chaos for the Bitcoin price and crypto market. The Fed is preparing a Biden bailout, David Sachs, a technology investor, posted to X. It has revised down inflation projections for 2023 and 2024 and is signaling upcoming rate cuts. We know about this. The pump in the markets that happened last week, or the week before, sorry, was solely down to the dovish nature of Chairman Powell. So we're looking at rate cuts. Rate cuts puts money into the economy. The money that goes into the economy goes into, it doesn't just go into buying goods and services. It goes into stock markets. It goes into gold. It goes into crypto. The more money you have, the more money you can put aside into savings accounts and banks. There's a whole benefit to having money in the economy, but the downside is the more money you have, the more demand there is on services and products, and that's what pushes prices up. So what you have to do is you have to make people poor for a while. And how do you make people poor? You put their mortgage rates up, you put their rent up, you put up the cost of goods. That makes people poorer because they can't spend as much. And if they can't spend as much, demand falls to meet supply. Simple economics. In this instance, we've been holding off now for over a year. It's been the fastest interest rate hikes in American history. And they have to be careful they don't stall the economy. So to avoid stalling the economy, Biden and his cronies are going to start pumping money into the economy. They've avoided the recession. Recession comes when growth goes below zero for 2 quarters. So they've avoided that so far. And I think with the election about to start, Biden is going to start printing money. They call it Bidenomics. I have no idea what Bidenomics is. It doesn't appear to have any foundation in anything I know about. All they seem to have done is put interest rates up to bring down inflation caused by them printing money in the first place. So I don't think that they should be declaring any kind of victory. We are receiving positive signals from the Federal Reserve about a pivot from rate hikes. We know about this. This will likely be a positive development for the crypto market. Next year, we will likely see a confluence of rate cuts, Bitcoin halving, and increased election spending. Totally agree with Rachel. She's absolutely spot on. There are multiple things happening next year, as well as the rate cuts, Bitcoin halving, and increased spending. We will, of course, have the ETFs. So all the ducks we've been talking about on this channel for 6 months, all these ducks are lining up. it's not, you don't have to be a rocket scientist or have a crystal ball to understand why this bull run coming up is going to be better than the previous bull run and the bull run before. Everybody says it's going to be different this time, and most of the time it isn't. Most of the time it's the same 4-year cycle, but this cycle, Ethereum is proof of stake. That's going to make a massive difference to the price of Ethereum. We have the ETFs. That's going to make a big difference to the amount of money that comes into the market, and those ETFs are appearing at the time that rate cuts are happening. So we have a perfect storm to have a great bull run, and this bull run could retire tens of thousands of people. By 2025, there could be 100,000 Bitcoin millionaires who no longer have to work. That's how big an impact this can have on crypto and on people's lives, not just in America, but in India, in Africa, in Europe, all over the world. People who've been buying Bitcoin, buying Cardano, buying XRP, if we 10, 20x from here, you could be making millionaires in the next 2 or 3 years. And for me, I can't wait for that to happen. That would be amazing. So the next thing I wanted to highlight is that we try and find things on the channel which haven't happened yet. And it's very difficult to do when the prices of everything are going up. It's very difficult to look at Solana and Link and Bitcoin and Ethereum because the prices are going up. I don't want to show you something after the event. I want to show you something before the event. And that is Bitcoin mining stocks. They've had a massive run up this year already because they were so undervalued at the start of this year it wasn't even funny, but that coincides with the bear market we've had. So Bitcoin mining stock, what is it? There are various Bitcoin miners in America that float on the stock exchanges. You can buy stocks in these miners. Some people call it proxy Bitcoin because these miners hold the Bitcoin and their value is in the Bitcoin that they mine, very similar to MicroStrategy. So Bitcoin mining stocks next year and the year after are probably going to have a massive, massive run up. But my caveat is you need to remember to sell the top. So you don't buy these mining stocks to hold for the next 10 years. You possibly buy them, hold them till the end of 2025, sell them, wait for any kind of price correction which is likely to happen in the market, and then potentially buy back in towards the end of 2026, beginning of 2027. That's how you should be able to play these mining stocks. And if you get taxed on it, then don't bother selling them, hold them. That is another thing. So Bitcoin holders can expect an entirely different experience following the up-and-coming halving compared to previous cycles. Williams believes it could be a turn of tables and could be positive for Bitcoin miners. Right. So we really don't need to be looking at this area here for how much they make out of mining going back before 2018, because remember, you have to look at the price. The price of Bitcoin was $10,000–$15,000. We didn't have the build out of the mining infrastructure around the world 5 years ago. So you have to remember that this decline happened with the build out of that mining infrastructure. Bitcoin miners make money. That's the bottom line. Major crypto mining companies have spent $747 million on facilities and equipment in December alone ahead of next year's Bitcoin halving. Why are they going to spend $750 million on mining equipment if it wasn't going to be a worthwhile investment for them? Remember, they have to replace it every 2 or 3 years. They do have to replace their equipment. That is an overhead, as is the electricity. But what they produce, if they're mining Bitcoin at a profit now at $45,000, and let's say the price of Bitcoin is at $65,000 in February or March before the halving, then they are making an extra 50–60% profit on that Bitcoin that's being mined today. So this is I've talked about this before. I'm not going to go about it again. It's very similar to when they mine diamonds and mine for gold. You look at some of the big mining stock, you're not buying the stock based on today's price. You're buying the stock based on next year's price, the year after's price. With miners, you shouldn't be buying them today because of the price of Bitcoin today. You should be buying their stock based on the price of Bitcoin in 2 years' time. It's technically not buying Bitcoin. It's technically not buying trading, but it's just something to keep in mind. There's more than one way to hold Bitcoin. If you're really into Bitcoin and really into crypto and you really believe it's going to be the future that's going to be integrated with everything like the internet is, then have a look at other types of companies that are invested into crypto. And the most obvious one for me is Bitcoin. So have a look at that. I'm not going to spend too long talking about that because I don't want to overrun on the show, and we're actually dead on time. We are dead on time. So we're going to take a look at Link and the price action of Link, and we're going to take a look at Sol. We're actually going to tell you today when the Jupiter airdrop is going to be on Solana. I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and we're going to look at the Solana price, because the last part of the show really is about Solana, and I've been big on Solana ever since I got into it. I prefer it to Ethereum. I find it quicker. I think Ethereum feels like the 1980s, and Solana feels like the 2010s. So we're going to have a look at Solana. We're going to have a look at why I think it's still undervalued, even though it's had a run up. And we're going to have a look at DeFi Llama combined with that. But first, I'm going to drop a box, because I haven't dropped a box just yet. Good morning, Eliane. Good morning, Eliane. I hope you are all well. I hope all the OGs are in chat, are doing well. Just give me 1 second to drop some boxes and then we will crack on. One second. And then while I'm doing this, don't forget, I haven't mentioned it at all today really, if you are new to the channel, please press the follow button, please press the like button. The viewing figures today so far from what I'm seeing are down. We are normally at about 50% up from where we are now, so we aren't getting as many viewers today. That tends to happen when there's a price correction in the market, believe it or not. Good morning, Chevon. Good morning. Welcome to the stream over there. Right, let me drop a box. Ybaser, good morning. Crypto Psycho. Chevon, you're welcome. Like I say, there's the three main areas for me that I'm looking at right now: meme coins, AI, and gaming. Meme coins are a very short term, so meme coins I'd be talking about a 2 or 3 month window. AI I'd look to buy for the bull run, and gaming I would look at some of the smaller gaming tokens. We did cover big time gaming. That is a good project for me. I like that. Gala, I love Gala. I think Gala's going to do big things in the future. But the problem is the time horizon. If you were looking for short-term gains, at the minute meme coins are all the rage. People are looking for the next bonk, and so that's what I'd be looking at personally. Who else is here? Crypto Psycho, good morning. All right, I'm going to try and drop a box over here, but I don't have an awful lot of crypto left. I don't think I've got a lot left. Let's see if that works. If it doesn't work, then we're going to struggle with the... Yeah, I didn't think it was going to work. Hang on 1 minute. Let me try again. Oh, you are joking me. That's going to be the smallest envelope I have ever dropped. Do apologise. Good morning, Jingzai. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining us. So we were talking about Link, I believe. There we go. So Chainlink is one of my favorite tokens. The reason is that it has real utility, and it's not a pump and dump scheme. It's not one of these, you know, meme coins that just launches because it's got a picture of a dog on it. This has got massive utility and a massive future, and I have link in my 15,000 to 1 million portfolio, and it's done exceptionally well so far. So, is it time to cash out on Link? This is the premise of the article. We're going to go through this and then I'm going to show you the charts. Chainlink has been relatively average in terms of volatility when compared to other cryptocurrencies. It's at $14 at the time of the writing. The volatility gauge follows, meaning that one day won't make or break its rank. Link's moderate volatility reading is paired with a low reading on the risk-reward gauge. Chainlink price is well positioned going forward with support at 1386, resistance at 1442. This leaves Chainlink with room to run before facing selling pressures. Now, I'm glad he agrees with me. That's the most important thing. I think I'm just about going to get all of this done in time. I think. Oh my lord, excuse me. Let's go back to daily. So Chainlink, as I have been talking about all summer, it was in this range here. So for 18 months, Link was in this range, which was between about $5 and about $8.25. It didn't move. It didn't move for such a long time that I was talking to people about buying here, sell here, buy here, sell here, buy here, and it followed that pattern perfectly forever. Okay, well, of course, it came to October when we had the breakout of Bitcoin, and Chainlink followed. And what we've done is, like a lot of coins, is we've moved, really, we've come up, we've bounced off support, we've come up, and we are now in this range here, which has this pocket here of liquidity. So we're having a breather. But look what this price support is here. This side, 13.38 for me is a good price for us to look at support, because that coincides with this previous level. You can go back, by the way, it's not the first time. This is a kind of a key level for Link, 13.38. Now, if we do fall below that, 11.29 would take us down to the bull market support band. Now, if we come down to the bull market support band, I would expect us to see a rebound. That's what it's there for. It gives us support. It gives us a reference point. And if you look here, you will see that we have a nice area, a nice volume area here, which coincides with the bull market support band. But we are sitting at this fairly big level here, so I'm not too worried. If Bitcoin, however, does give way and Bitcoin does come down, then I would expect this 13.30 to give way, and I would expect us to touch here, which is 11.40. Now, you got to remember, there's quite a few ways to make money in crypto. You can buy and hold. Everybody else does it. It's buying and holding at the right prices. Buying and holding Bitcoin when it was at $69,000 has probably not been the wisest decision most people will have made. But in the long term, over a 10-year period, if Bitcoin goes to $500, $600, $700,000, buying Bitcoin at $69,000, you've still 10x'd or 8x'd or whatever you want to call it. So you've got to take things into perspective. Now, I bought my, I'm trying to find it about here. I bought my Link here. Okay, at that point there, the start of January, I've bought it, which was let's call it $6.40. So I have doubled my money in 12 months on Link, which is one of my top tier currencies that I like. Am I going to sell it at $13.97? I am absolutely not going to sell it at that price. Will I sell it at $50 or $100? I am likely to try and sell my Link at somewhere between the previous all-time high, which was $47, I believe, $51 on this chart. So $51. I'm likely to sell between $51, $50 say, and $100. And I will have 10x'd, 15x'd my money on Link in 3 years. I don't need more than that. So when you see these price corrections, you should see this area here as your hit zone, as your area to accumulate. And if it drops further, that's your area to accumulate. All of this area down here, when people are fearful, even if the price came down to this level here at 750, you should be DCAing in to coins like Link, coins like XRP, coins like Cardano, even coins like Solana. We're going to look at that in a minute. You should be DCAing in, because if you're buying here, right, and the coin doesn't move, it just stays there, doesn't move for a year, okay, who cares? It gives you more time to buy those coins at those prices, because I tell you what's going to happen. This coin hits $20 up here, and you're going to be saying, yeah, but you could have got it for $5 or $6. That's the wrong way to look at it. You buy it at $20 because you have an expectation that it will go to its previous all-time high and above. So let's say it gets to $80 in the next bull run, and you buy it at 20, you've 4x'd your money. So you put $500 in today, and in 2 years' time it will be worth $2,000. It's not the 1000x gains that you can get on meme coins, but this is a top 20 coin. You're not going to get 1000x on LinkedIn, I keep calling LinkedIn, Chainlink. You're not going to get 1000x on Solana, but they're the safer bets. Your risk and reward needs to be in everything you do. And it's all well and good going to buy Bonk and SHIB and Doge and Snek and Flocky and all these meme coins. It's great. But they don't have real world, long-term sustainable gains associated with them. They don't have real world utility, because at the end of the day, they're meme coins. And yes, some of them will do well. And yes, some of them will evolve, like SHIB will evolve and Flocky's evolve and Snek will evolve. They will evolve. But they're never going to evolve to be more than just a meme coin with utility. So look at Link. Look at Chainlink. At $14, if we go to all-time highs of $52, it's a 3.5x from here, just if it goes back to its all-time high. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at Solana, and I'm going to give you an example of why Solana is going to pump in January, irrespective of what else happens. Remember, if you are new here, do me a huge favor, smash the like button, say hello in chat, let me know you're watching. We stream pretty much every day at 11 o'clock. Wednesday, it's going to be an early show, because Wednesday there is a Christmas party I'm going to at midday, so I need to be there. So I'm going to be really early on Wednesday. It's going to involve an awful lot of coffee, and let's see. So the airdrop of a massive amount of JUP tokens boosts the Solana ecosystem. This is the news that everybody's been waiting for. I've been making airdrop videos on my channel now for about 6 weeks. We've discussed Pyth. We've discussed, what else did we discuss? Pyth. We discussed Camino Finance. We've discussed lots of potential future airdrops. Now, this is about dupe, but the reason I'm showing it you is because of what it's going to do to the Solana ecosystem. Because you just have to look back at the previous airdrops. GateIO, you look at the airdrops of Pyth, it's caused huge amounts of interest and transactions in the Solana blockchain, and that's why these airdrops are important. We used to get airdrops all the time, all over the place, not so much anymore. So the founder of Jupiter, a decentralized exchange on Solana blockchain known by the pseudonym Meow, has revealed the fate of next year on the social media platform. According to Meow, a total of 10 billion Jupe tokens will be created, half of which will be given to the community and the other half to the Jupe team. We don't need to go through any of the breakdown of the token distribution because the article isn't about this. The Jupiter founder anticipates that the more details about the Jupe airdrop and liquidity provision will be shared in the coming weeks, creating anticipation in the cryptocurrency community. These announcements are awaited with interest by users and participants in the crypto ecosystem. So why does this cause such a pump in the price of Solana? I'll give you my case in point. So I got an airdrop of Pies 3 weeks ago, and I sold all of my Pies on the day, on the spot. I sold all of it for Solana, and I staked that Solana on the day. I think it worked out at 20 Solana I got from the airdrop. So I got the Solana and I staked it straight away. And what you tend to find is there are people that will be buying more and more Pies, more and more Jupiter. They'll be buying more and more of it because, again, it's speculation that the price is going to go up. Then you have the other end where you have the people who have got the airdrop that want to sell to a safer currency. That is Solana. The airdrop is on Solana. People will buy Solana. If this was on the Ethereum ecosystem, people will be buying Ethereum with it, and that would pump the price of Ethereum. Because what you're doing is you're injecting maybe $200 million worth of tokens into an ecosystem. And that $200 million is being used to buy the token of the chain, which is Solana. That's why it's important to, when you see these airdrops, don't look at Jupiter, don't look at Pi, look at what it's going to do to the main chain. That's why Solana, in the beginning of January, hopefully it's the first 2 weeks of January, that's why Solana is going to have another run up. Now, we have had a big run up. As you can see, we came all the way up and tested $80, which is previous support. It's now resistance. We hit $80. We said, and we have been saying on here for a long time, $50, $60, $80, $100. These are our lines in the sand. The $100 mark does tie up with this fib level as well, so it's all the confluence in the world. And if I just figure out how to use this chart for a second, which I seem to have lost the ability to do so, what you've found is some of these pumps here have been associated with the airdrops. So you could argue that the Solana pumps that we've seen have been exacerbated by these airdrops. So let's say we get to the end of January and Solana is still crabbing around here. Then we get the Jupiter airdrop in the first week. What's going to happen? I think we're going to come up here like this. If nothing else affects Solana, if there's no, the ETF stuff, if we take all of that out of the equation, the simple fact of dropping the Jupiter tokens and those tokens being sold for Solana, that's going to cause an independent pump in Solana outside of Ethereum, outside of Bitcoin, and it's going to push Solana up. Depending on where we are, I think if the airdrop happened today, Solana would be at $80 by the end of the day. That's how much of an impact this is going to have. Because what we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at DeFi Llama. Now, DeFi Llama is a tool that you should be using to look at projects that you want to invest in. So let's say there's a new token about to be listed on the exchange that you're on. The couple of places I use, Dex Tools. Dex Tools is a good tool for me. DeFi Llama is another good tool for me. And it gives you kind of macro crypto information. So in this instance, the reason I'm showing you this is, and the reason we're going to go back to, I want to show you one other thing. Okay. So the market cap of Ethereum is 261 billion. The market cap of Solana is 29 billion. So let's, for the sake of arguing, say that it's a 10x. Let's say it's a 10x. So Ethereum is 10 times larger than Solana. But look at the volume of the two of them. 945, 940. So they have very similar volumes. Look at the total value locked though, 6.3 billion, 370 million. Now, you've got to understand obviously that Ethereum is 10 times the value of Solana. So you divide that by 10 and you'd get to 630 million. So there's still not enough value locked into Solana, for example, but the volume. Now, in my opinion, what tends to happen is that the activity of a chain determines the value of a chain. There's certain laws that you can apply, there's certain laws you can talk about. I don't think it's Metcalfe's law, but there's something about that. The more interactions, the more value it adds. Now, if Solana is on a par with Ethereum for volume, and it's not really just the volume in the last 24 hours, go back over the last 7 days. It's not, I mean, we're talking about a chain that is a 10th of the size of Ethereum, putting in big boy numbers. Okay, it's bigger than Arbitrum, bigger than Avalanche, bigger than Thorchain. It's destroying Polygon. Absolutely destroying Polygon, which a lot of people say Solana is up against Polygon. If we want to talk about an Ethereum killer, we want to talk about Solana. Now, it's not done this overnight. It's not happened yesterday or the day before. This happened in the bull market. Why did it happen in the bear market? Sorry. Why did it happen in the bear market? Because Solana got smashed from pillar to post by everybody that was saying, oh, but that's Sam Bankman-Fried's blockchain. The reason that happened is Anatoly sided a little bit too much with Sam Bankman-Fried. He was too close to him and he got his fingers burnt. And not only did he get his fingers burnt, he also damaged the reputation of Solana. He didn't put enough distance between Solana and Sam Bankman-Fried. FTX had too many Solana tokens. You can say that happened because they were trying to push the price of Solana up, whatever you want to say. But for me, Solana, since I've been using it, has been a better blockchain than Ethereum. Ethereum is slow, it's expensive, it's got that kind of Bitcoin maxi vibe to the people that use it as well. I still hold Ethereum, it's still my second biggest bag. But for day-to-day use, Solana blows it out the water. Now, the second thing to look at here is look at the amount of stable coins on the chain. Ethereum, 66 billion worth of stable coins. Solana, 1.77 billion dollars worth of stable coins. So think of it this way. When people sell in Ethereum, they sell to stable coins. So let's say they sell one of their Bored Apes and they get 150 or 120 ETH for it, whatever it might be nowadays, 20 ETH, whatever the prices come down to. They will sell that to stable coins, hold it in cash for a while, maybe take it, maybe off-ramp it, whatever. Solana doesn't have the luxury that Ethereum has. Ethereum has, again, going back to dividing it by 10, if you divide it by 10, you get to 6.6 billion. It still has 4 times the amount of stablecoin as Solana. So what do you think people do on the Solana blockchain? They don't trade from Bonk to USDC. They trade from Bonk to Sol. And that's the difference between the two chains. Ethereum sells to stablecoins. Solana sells to Sol. That difference will pump Solana higher and higher and higher because the mentality of people that use Solana is to sell to Solana. That's the safe haven on the Solana blockchain. They don't think about selling to USDC. They do on an exchange, don't get me wrong, if you're watching now and you've sold your bonk at all-time highs, you will probably have sold bonk to USDC or USDT. I get that. But when you're on a DeFi platform, like let's say Jupiter or Radium or whatever else it might be, you're going to sell to the native currency, which is Solana. So bear that in mind when you're looking at the two chains. Do you honestly think Solana has a tenth of the value of Ethereum? I don't think so. I think Solana is wholly undervalued. Even at $60, $70, $80, $100, it's undervalued. If you were to ask me my opinion, I would say at this stage of the market, it should probably be a fifth of the size of Ethereum. That would put it at about 50 billion. That would give it a 60% pump from where we are now. So that would put it at, let's, for argument's sake, say $110. So at this stage of the market, for me, Solana should be $110, which is a significant move up from where we are now. But look at the hang on, there's another one here I'm going to bring up. Look at the activity that we've just been looking at. The volume by chain. Just look how close it is. Solana is undervalued. You could say to me Ethereum is overvalued. I would accept that point as well. But for me, Solana is undervalued. And I think it's because it's playing catch up from the hangover of FTX. That's what I think. Now, the last thing I'm going to show you, and again, I talk about this quite a lot on the channel, and it's something that you should, if you take away anything from today, it's the token unlocks, which you can go and look at on DeFi Llama. Again, want to point out, I'm not paid to tell you about DeFi Llama. Not paid by anything that I've said today. I've not been paid to tell you about. But what this token unlocks does is it shows you the chain, and then it shows you the unlocks that happen on those chains. So you don't have to look at every coin, but look down the list. So DYDX, for example, we've covered by economy for our members only area. Who else is on here that you might know about? Step Up, we've mentioned a couple of times. My Neighbor Alice, Optimism. All of these unlocks, what they do is they flood the market with additional tokens. Now, if that unlock is going to early seed investors, they're going to do one thing and one thing only, which is sell. So it will affect the price, irrespective of the pump going on in the market, it will affect the price. So if you do anything today, go and have a look at DeFi Llama, go and bookmark the token unlocks and just leave it in the corner, because here's an example. So let's say this is the price. So let's say OP has got a price of $2.11. And let's say that this unlock, which is happening in 11 days time, what I would do is I would look to buy Optimism in 11 days time, because that day of the token unlock is the day that price, it will probably come down to somewhere around $1.95, because it has an adverse effect on the price. So look to buy Optimism just around the time of the unlock. And if you hold Optimism, one other way of doing it is to sell your Optimism today and buy it back in 11 days time. So that's something else to look at. Now, we're running out of time. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put the stream on pause for about 30 seconds. Say goodbye to the lovely people that have been watching us. So if you are watching us, so Chevron, Hidden Agendas, people like that, smash the like button. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel. We will see you all tomorrow at 11 o'clock. And for the rest of you on exchanges, give me about 30 seconds to go and terminate one of the streams.